Hello, fellow peasants. Today I'll be reviewing Alfred Hitchcock's 1959 thriller, North by Northwest. Alright guys, so I got around to watching North by Northwest. This is directed by Alfred Hitchcock, starring Cary Grant, and was released in 1959. Now, what's it about? Well, Cary Grant is somebody basically who is mistaken for a spy. These bad guys or whatever, these foreign actors, they think he's somebody that he's not. So they take him to this mansion. They get him drunk. And they try to get him, they put him in a vehicle and try to have him kill himself to make it look like he was drunk driving or something, but he escapes that. And so it's like the whole movie is like a game of cat and mouse, because they don't believe, because he's like, look, I'm not this guy. I'm not this guy. I am not who you think I am. I'm not some sort of spy. I can show you documentation of who I am. They're like, yeah, but you could fake all that. So they really don't believe that he is who he says he is. And they don't believe that he isn't who he says he isn't. So, the police briefly investigate the case, but at the end of the day, they think, Cary Grant's character is basically just trying to get out of a DUI. He's trying to get out of trouble, and he's concocting this whole story about how they tried to kill him and whatnot. And yeah, so it's just the rest of the movie is just them chasing him. He's trying to evade them and trying to not die, basically, because they're trying to kill his ass. And along the way, he meets this lady, and you're not quite sure about her. You know, she's trustworthy or not. And so there's a little bit of romance in here too, sprinkled throughout here. And so what do I like, what do I not like about North by Northwest? Well, the thing I like the most about the film is how it looks. I like the cinematography. It's beautifully shot. The set design, I mean, just everything about the way the movie looks, between the Technicolor, the camera angles, the set design, the locations, everything about the film in terms of visuals is amazing. Alfred Hitchcock really did a great job, and whoever else was involved, his DP and other people. But you know, visually this film looks great. There's a few moments in the film where I'm like, wow, like for 1959, that was pretty slick. That looks really good. Or I haven't seen that camera technique in any film, in any other film from this era. Like, there's times where you're watching this movie and you're like, well, that's an editing technique, or that is a camera movement or something that's very modern, that you've only seen in the last 20-30 years, you know. And you're like, wow, Alfred Hitchcock was doing that in the 1950s. So, you know, he definitely, I feel like, yes, Alfred Hitchcock is one of the best directors of all time. He pioneered a lot of things, but he wasn't that much better than everyone in his time. But I do see how he is considered a master, if not one of the masters of filmmaking. Because watching this film, there were numerous times where I was just like, wow, like he was ahead of his time, or he was doing things more often than maybe other people were doing similar things at the time, but they just weren't getting the attention. I don't know, but I was really impressed with some of the craftsmanship. The acting in here is good. Everyone gives a great performance. I mean, The story is good. It's very interesting because you want to find out what happens. You want to see if he survives, if they kill him or not. You want to find out if eventually they come to the realization that he's not who he says he's not, you know. And I do like movies where people are being chased. They got to get away from the bad guy. You know, it's a very ABC, you know, plot-driven type of story. But I like that kind of story. And, but yeah, so I like the story. I like the way it looks. But so let's get into what I don't like. What I don't like about the movie mainly is just, after about the 45 to 50 minute mark, the movie just kind of takes a nosedive in terms of keeping your attention, because it's very interesting. You know, the first 45 to 50 minutes of the film is, you know, him getting kidnapped, him talking to them trying to kill him explaining it to the police. All of that is like fascinating. Like, you're fully sucked in. And then by the time he gets to the train where he meets the lady, it really just, the pacing, the momentum of the film really just drops off a lot for me. And the movie doesn't pick up until about the last 15 minutes. The movie's 2 hours and 16 minutes long. And so really, in my mind, I was only fully engaged in the film for about an hour and a half, probably, in total. Like, you really could just cut about an hour out of this film and you wouldn't really miss it. I don't think. I think a 2 hours and 16 minute runtime for this was a bit much. I think they could have got away with a 90-minute cut, to be honest. Not 90-minute, maybe hour 45. You know, a good 45 minutes to an hour could have been cut out of this film, I think. And there's just a lot of, I won't say nothing happening, but what is happening is just, it doesn't take you anywhere. You just feel you're in this, like, limbo, you know. But there are some great scenes, even you know, the scene with the crop duster plane is a nice break from the monotony. So, like, yeah, he goes to the train and that's kind of like dull and boring after a bit. Then there's the crop duster scene, and that's interesting. That's a little action packed. And then it kind of dies down again for a while until they get to Mount Rushmore. And then it picks back up, and there's, you know, there's more suspense and stuff at the end. But yeah, I just feel like there's too much dead space in the film, in my opinion. And the last thing I don't like about the film is just, like, at the very, very end, and this isn't a spoiler, but once the bad guy dies and things are kind of wrapped up, it literally just cuts to credits. There's not really an ending dialogue of some sort or discussion, or, you know, sometimes in most movies, after the climax, you know, it kind of like tapers off through dialogue or something. And then you cut to credits. Like, literally, the fucking, like, bad guy dies. He says, like, a line or two to the girl, and then credits roll. And you're just like, oh. It's like, well, you know, you could have had a better ending that wasn't so abrupt. And so, you know, if you would have just, like, take some of the time you wasted in the middle of the movie where you weren't fucking really doing anything, and apply some of that towards the end there, and you could have had a better ending, I think. Because it just feels very, like, last minute, like, okay, like, shut it down, like, there it is, that guy's taken care of. It's over. It just feels very abrupt, and I didn't really care for that. But I really like watching Cary Grant's a great performer. He always gives a good performance, and he's known to be a really great actor. This is only the second film I've ever seen him in. The only other film I've seen him in is The Bishop's Wife, which I really enjoyed. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was okay. I do think it is, by today's standards, the film is overrated, I think, slightly. But I could see back in the day, I could see back in 1959 with how slick this was produced and how well the performances are. It's just, you know, for me, the runtime isn't justified. But I think it's a decent film. I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10. I think if the pacing would have been better, and I think they would have trimmed some fat off of this baby, it probably could have been like an 8.5 out of 10 for me. But yeah, it was okay. It was okay. But that's it, guys. Let me know down in the comments below what you think about North by Northwest. I can't fucking talk. Starring Cary Grant. All right, have a good one, guys. Peace out. Bye-bye.